Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on frequency distribution tables. A frequency distribution table is a very useful way of collecting data and organizing it into a meaningful and easily understood format. In this way, the data becomes information that we can use to draw conclusions. A frequency distribution table usually consists of three columns. Number one, the first column contains the score. So here we have the scores from 1 to 6. The second column contains tally marks. That's this column. And the third column contains the frequency for each score over here. That tells us how many times each score occurs. So, example 1, place the following test scores in a frequency distribution table. The first thing we do is we scan the scores and we see that the lowest is 1 and the highest is 6, and we have all the numbers in between. So the scores are from 1 to 6. Now we have to collect them all and see how many of each score we have. So when you see the first score here, so you go to the first score and you see that it's 1, so you go over here and you put a stroke. The second score is a 2, so you go here and you put a stroke. The third score is a 4, so you come down here and you put a stroke. And you keep going one by one, and you have to be very careful not to miss any scores. You notice this situation here where we have 4 strokes, and then we have a stroke along there like that, a diagonal stroke. That's a bundle of 5, and we do that because at the end, when we finish all our counting, it's easy to count up the tallies. Instead of counting them individually, we go 5 plus 4 is 9, 5 plus 1 is 6, 5 plus 2 is 7. So it makes it very easy to do the counting at the end. One of the things we notice very quickly is that the mode, or the score with the highest frequency, is 2, because 2 occurs 9 times. So once you have the scores in a table like this, it's easy to make conclusions, and there's a very simple conclusion. The most popular score is 2, the least popular is 6, because that only occurs twice. Example 2, place the following scores in a frequency distribution table. These are the test scores for 22 students. So there are 22 scores here, and we do exactly the same thing. We go through them carefully, put the lowest, find out which one the highest is, and then make sure you've got all the other scores, and we have. So the score starts from 5, and then we have the highest score is 10. And here are our tally marks. They're all single strokes except the 8. Of course, that occurs 5 times. Let's quickly check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that diagonal stroke there tells us that we have a bundle of 5, and all the others are just individual strokes. We can see that the mode here is 8. Of course, that occurs 5 times. That's the score with the highest frequency. And finally, we have another example here where we have to place these numbers into a frequency distribution table. They show the number of books read by a class of 25 students in 1 week. So for example, 3 books were read by 1 student. 4 books were read by 2 students. 5 books were read by 3 students, etc. So once we finish our tally marks, then we put the total over here. We can see that the mode is 7. That is, 6 students read 7 books. And we see that the total number of students is 25. So this video has introduced us to the idea of the frequency distribution table, where we can place a number of scores in a table. We use tally marks, then we find the frequency. That organizes the data into some useful information, and then we can make conclusions after we've put the scores in that very well organised table.